The late afternoon sun cast a golden glow over the open prairie as Evelyn urged her mare forward. The wind tugged at her bonnet, and for a fleeting moment, she felt free. Free from expectations, free from the loneliness that had been gnawing at her heart since she'd left her family back east. But freedom was short-lived. The horse stumbled. Evelyn's hand slipped on the reins, and before she could cry out, she was tumbling to the hard-packed earth. The world spun. Dust filled her lungs as she hit the ground, pain shooting up her arm. Through the haze, she heard hoofbeats approaching. A shadow fell across her. "You all right, miss?" Blinking against the sun, Evelyn saw a tall figure dismounting, a broad-shouldered cowboy with dark hair and a face bronzed by the western sun. His green eyes were full of concern. I sprained my wrist," she whispered, fighting tears. He crouched beside her. "Let me help you up. Name's Caleb Weston. You're lucky I was riding this way." Evelyn's cheeks flushed as he gently helped her to her feet. "Seems like fate sent me," he said softly, with a small, reassuring smile. And somehow, Evelyn believed him. Caleb helped Evelyn back to her horse, but she winced as she tried to mount. "That wrist won't hold the reins," he said. "My ranch isn't far. You can rest there, get that arm looked at." "I don't want to trouble you," Evelyn said softly. "It's no trouble. Can't leave you out here hurt. Besides," he added with a faint grin, "the company would be welcome." Something in his tone, gentle, teasing, made Evelyn's chest warm. She agreed, and soon they were riding side by side toward Caleb's ranch, the prairie glowing as the sun sank lower. When they reached the house, a little border collie came bounding out, barking happily. Caleb helped Evelyn down, careful of her arm. "You sit tight. I'll get some water and bandages," he said. For the first time in days, Evelyn felt safe. Inside the cozy ranch house, Evelyn sat by the fire while Caleb wrapped her wrist with surprising gentleness. "You're good at this," she said, softly. "Life out here teaches you a thing or two," he replied with a faint smile. When the bandage was secure, he brought her a simple supper: stew, cornbread, and fresh milk. Evelyn hadn't realized how hungry she was until she took the first bite. "Thank you," she murmured. "You're welcome," Caleb said. His gaze was steady, kind. "What brings a lady like you out here alone?" Evelyn hesitated, then sighed. "I came west hoping for a fresh start. My family wanted me to marry a man back east, but I couldn't. I wanted more than just duty." Caleb nodded slowly. "Takes courage to follow your own path." For a moment neither spoke, but something passed between them, an unspoken understanding. The next morning, Evelyn awoke to the smell of coffee and fresh biscuits. Despite the ache in her wrist, she smiled. "You didn't have to feed me again," she said when Caleb set a plate in front of her. "Course I did," he replied. "Guest doesn't leave my place hungry." After breakfast, Caleb showed her around the ranch. She watched as he checked fences and fed the horses, moving with quiet strength. "You love this place," she said softly. He nodded. "It's home. Keeps me grounded. Lost my folks young. This land is all I got left." Evelyn's heart ached for him, but there was pride in his voice too. She found herself drawn not just to his strength, but to the steadiness he carried. That evening, Caleb hitched up the wagon. "There's a barn dance in town tonight," he said. "You feel up to it?" Evelyn's eyes widened. "I haven't been to a dance in ages." At the barn dance, lanterns glowed overhead and a fiddle played lively tunes. Caleb led Evelyn onto the floor, careful of her wrist, and they moved in easy circles, laughing together. For the first time since she'd left home, Evelyn felt truly alive. "You're a fine dancer," Caleb said softly. "You're not so bad yourself," she replied, smiling up at him. And just like that, the world outside the barn faded away. After the dance, Caleb walked Evelyn outside. The prairie stretched endlessly under a sky full of stars. "I should thank you," Evelyn said softly. "You've been nothing but kind to me." Caleb looked at her for a long moment. "Evelyn, I don't want you to leave just yet." Her heart thudded. "Why?" "Because ever since I saw you fall from that horse, I haven't been able to stop thinking about you." Tears pricked Evelyn's eyes. "I haven't felt this right in a long time." Caleb reached for her good hand. "Then maybe fate didn't just send me to catch you, it sent you to me." Beneath the stars, Evelyn let herself believe it. Days turned into weeks. Evelyn's wrist healed, but she no longer thought about leaving. She helped around the ranch, learning to cook on the wood stove and feed the chickens. One golden evening, Caleb took her to the edge of the pasture where the sky was blazing with sunset. "I've been meaning to ask you something," he said, pulling a small silver ring from his pocket. Evelyn's breath caught. "This ranch can be lonely," he said softly, "but it doesn't have to be. Evelyn, would you stay?" "With me?" Tears filled her eyes. "Yes," she whispered. Caleb slipped the ring onto her finger, and in that moment Evelyn knew she had found more than a home. She had found the love she'd been searching for all along. The ranch never felt so alive. Laughter filled the kitchen, the field seemed greener, and even the horses seemed calmer. Evelyn rode her mare again, this time with Caleb riding beside her. As the wind rushed past, Evelyn glanced at him and smiled. She had fallen from her horse that day. But what she'd really done was fall into the arms of the man fate had chosen for her. Weeks passed as Evelyn adjusted to life on the ranch. Her days were filled with the rhythm of work and the quiet, steady presence of Caleb. Some mornings she would find him already out in the fields, shirt sleeves rolled up, the sun catching in his dark hair. He always came back for breakfast, and they would sit together at the worn kitchen table, sharing coffee and smiles. One morning, Caleb returned to the porch to find Evelyn sweeping. She looked up and grinned. "You know," he said, leaning on the railing, "I think this place has been waiting for you." Evelyn paused, the words settling in her heart like warm sunlight. A sudden summer storm rolled across the prairie one night, wind howling through the grass. Caleb ran out to secure the barn while Evelyn held the lantern at the doorway. When he came back, soaked to the bone, she laughed softly. "You look like you just wrestled the storm itself," she teased. "Maybe I did," he said, grinning. He reached for her hand, rain dripping from his hair, and for a moment, the storm outside didn't matter. "You know, Evelyn," he said softly, "I think this ranch is home because you're here." Evelyn's breath caught. She leaned against him, listening to the thunder rumble like a distant drumbeat. Over the next few months, Evelyn and Caleb began to build something together. Not just a life, but a dream. They planted a small garden, fixed up the house, and even took in a stray foal that had wandered onto the property. "Looks like he belongs here," Evelyn said, stroking the little horse's nose. "Like someone else I know," Caleb teased, brushing dust from her cheek. She swatted at him playfully, but her heart was full. One evening, Caleb took Evelyn out to the edge of the pasture where the stars stretched endlessly above. He carried a blanket and a lantern, setting them down on the grass. "I wanted to do this proper," he said, his voice a little unsteady. Evelyn's heart raced as he knelt before her. "Evelyn Grace," he said, pulling a small gold ring from his pocket. "You turned this ranch into more than land. You turned it into home. Will you marry me?" Tears spilled over Evelyn's cheeks as she nodded. "Yes," she whispered. Caleb slid the ring onto her finger, then kissed her under the wide open sky. The wedding was small but beautiful. Friends from neighboring ranches gathered, and a preacher from town married them beneath the wide blue sky. Evelyn wore a simple white dress, her hair tied back with a ribbon. Caleb couldn't take his eyes off her. "You look like the very heart of this land," he whispered as he took her hands. And when they said their vows, the prairie wind seemed to carry their words into eternity. That night, as the stars came out over the ranch, Evelyn stood on the porch with Caleb's arm around her. "I fell from a horse the day we met," she said softly, "and somehow it led me here." Caleb kissed the top of her head. "Sometimes falling is how we find where we're meant to land." Evelyn smiled, tears in her eyes. The ranch stretched out before them, golden even in the moonlight. This was their home, their love, their forever.
Like, share, and subscribe.